All right. First question. I don't have no context video or none of that. I think that this is a question that people been asked before, so I'm just gonna ask it again. Should in-home issues be discussed with people outside of it?
Hmm.
So shit be happening, right? You may want to discuss it or speak about it, but there can be, some repercussion with that or not. So should in-home issues be discussed with people outside of it? The gathers, y'all can go first since y'all the last ones up here.
You want to go? You
Yeah,
want
I go. Um, I honestly think nah, man, because like as me and my wife, like we don't discuss none of our issues outside, like regardless of what it is, like whatever happens in this house, positive, negative, especially like if anything was to go sour, like we as grown adults, we're gonna address that right then and there, and before the night is out, or before the day is out, it's gonna be over. Once you go to the outside, there's really no need to even discuss none of that because
Hmm.
some information might be too much information outside. You know what I'm saying? Some people really don't. People act like they care, but they really don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's just cheap for somebody else to be in your shit. Just to
Why
go
do you
back and give you a fuel, like that throw some shit at you, if some shit was ever go south. I just don't. I don't believe it should be. That's just again, it's my opinion. But we as an adults, man, if you got a wife, girlfriend, whatever y'all go through, man, like discuss that between y'all two. It don't even, the world don't gotta know about it because everybody got their own opinions about it.
hmm. So why do you think people willing to listen?
Some ain't, man. Some people just like tea, bro. Majority of people like tea. You only probably get a small percent that actually will listen and give you good advice. But the majority rule will not. It's just for tea.
Hmm. So
Fuel.
Yeah,
you
I
think
feel like it's just people wishing on your downfall. Like to me, it's like everybody not rooting for you. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of times too, like I know a lot of people go to their families. I don't even believe in that. You get what I'm saying? Because some the thing about it is people go through shit and then they be fine. So when you let outsiders in, then they feel sorry about your spouse that you ain't never gonna leave. You get what I'm saying? So it causes tension or it causes negative energy from outsiders.
hmm, okay.
Get a therapist.
And say again.
Get a therapist. You got something to say, just talk about it in therapy if you feel like you need an outside opinion.
Hmm, okay. What you think, A plus?
Nah, yeah, I definitely think you should have supports for your relationship or your marriage. Like I think we all could benefit from wise counsel. So definitely a therapist. I don't think you need to be putting all your business out there to everybody, especially family. Like Mary was saying, like, your family, you'll forgive them, but your family won't. So you can't do it with anybody, but you definitely want to have some supports. Like I think like married women should have older married women who have been through kind of what they're going through, where they can kind of validate their feelings, and this person is never really going to speak bad about your spouse, but kind of hold you accountable. You know what I'm saying? So I think the couple benefits from having other couples they both can trust and kind of go to, and the men having individual men, the women having individual women just to kind of go to just kind of pour into them and just guide them as they work towards their marriage or their relationship.
Okay. So now those are regular people though, not therapists.
Right. That's regular people.
Hmm. How do you decipher if they're there for the tea or if they're there, for genuine support?
So I think that's the thing. I think it's not always easy, but you can, as you just around them, I would say use your discernment kind of, and then just as y'all are just talking about regular issues. So like first you can see how they. So like for me with men, I look at how they view their own relationship, right? How I hear this man talk about his wife. How I hear this man talk about his family. Is he doing something or has he done something that I'm trying, to do? And then from there, I may begin to just let him in, just to kind of vent, and then just see how he responds. Like one thing I always look for, I say like nobody should ever speak negatively about your spouse though. You know what I'm saying? So even if I'm going off, you're looking for somebody to be like, well, nah, like let's bring it back to you. What do you need to do as a husband? You know what I'm saying? It kind of just holds you accountable. So it is tricky. And while trying to find those supports, it can be difficult, right? You can end up trusting the wrong people, but I still encourage people to look for those supports because it gets lonely. It's hard to stay in a marriage and it's something by yourself. And then the Bible always talks about like just wise counsel. So definitely therapy, but there are people who are out there, even if it's just 2 or 3, who you can kind of lean on for just that wisdom and just that support, who understands your goal of, hey, don't be telling me niggas ain't ish. Don't be telling me, hey, you need to leave this relationship. It's like, nah, man up. I get what they did. I get you upset, but you got to do what you're supposed to do to make the family work. So just finding supports that line up with, your overall goals for the relationship.
Okay. Sweet B, what you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that
Absolutely. You better agree with your man, girl.
I mean, well, I can disagree too, you know what I'm saying? But no, I do agree. I do agree because sometimes you only see what you see. So like if it's just like in the house, it's like, okay, I'm seeing the issue from this perspective. And he's seeing the issue from his perspective. But sometimes it takes an outside perspective. And so when it comes to, trusting people, having trusted people that's outside of it, that have your best interests at heart. Like I know for me, before getting married, already forming those relationships, because marriage is something that I wanted to have. So having relationships with other women who've been married, who have, 6, 7, 8 kids, who've been through it. Wow. I know that there are, I do. But then who are still married and is successful in marriage. So, okay, I know I can come to these people when things get real. And it's not going to my mom, not going to my grandmother. Because like you said, Mary, people won't forgive. They can't forgive when you've forgiven, you've gotten past it. And then mom will be like, well, I remember when he did this and you sure you want to, and so I just don't even go the route of family. But having people who are outside that are trusted, I think that's wise. So I agree.
Okay. Q&A, what you guys think?
Go first. I actually agree with Mary. I agree with A+, and I agree with Sweet B. I do think that you should go to therapy, have a therapist, because they are to do that.
Wait.
I'm telling you who I agree with. Mary mentioned therapy at the end, so I agree with that part.
Okay.
There you go. And A+ and Sweet B, I definitely agree. I feel like you can have spiritual guidance if you're into that. You can have wise counsel. I think having like-minded people, for me, being in a same-sex union, I had to find others that were well-versed in that. Because for me, honestly, it helped me to understand it a little bit more. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, for me, that was really helpful. I'm not one to ask any and everybody, but people that you can trust. But I'm not family. Definitely not family for me.
So no family?
No. Because just like Mary said, that part I do agree with. And I think A+ said it too. Family, when you forgive them, family is not going to forgive. So it's like just keeping them out of that. Just, this is my business. Let me handle it. I got it.
But you're
if
saying
you see
fine.
something, you can tell me, but I don't want to go directly to you and tell you what's going on.
So everybody's saying not family, but definitely a friend?
Nah, so I ain't gonna totally rule family out, but you got to be real careful with family though, right? So like, my family is huge. The only members that I'm talking to though is probably my aunt Nikki and her husband Charles, in terms of my marriage, because one, my aunt used to be off the chain, like, you know what I'm saying? So I've witnessed their marriage grow and evolve and do different things, and I know what type of man he is. I know what type of woman she is. So they're a support for the both of us. You know what I'm saying? So I think it can be family, but you just got to be careful with it, because again, they're not going to forgive that other person. But if their morals and values are aligned with yours, that's the most important thing, to find people who morals, who values are aligned with yours. And so since my aunt and uncle, they believe in marriage, like no divorce, man is the head, man is the servant, like serve his wife. Like I literally believe everything that they believe from what we talked about. So they stand out. They don't they cut family members off. They check family members based upon their belief system. So when you have family members who put their belief above just like family, I think that's okay.
But don't you think they're outliers?
Yeah, it's outliers. It's definitely outliers. So I think in general, like it's probably best to not even do it, but it can be.
Yeah. Okay. What you think, Q?
I've always kind of said to keep outside voices out. Um, but I do agree with Babe in that if it's a professional and you really have a need for having some of your issues heard or something that you may be feeling that is going on, definitely keep it with a professional. But I think that the premise should be for whatever your issues are and not necessarily venting about what you feel the other person has going on, looking for them to give you solutions about your partner.
Okay. So you saying like don't look for like validation per se?
Right. Because I think once you get into that space, it can become very, like you can become very codependent on constantly looking for validation from an outside source. Like, oh, I'm mad right now. Mm-hmm. So, oh, you said that when they did that, that was wrong. See, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And then that just cripples your relationship right there. As opposed to like Adrian was saying, somebody who's going to be like, okay, I understand that. However, how do you think you could have dealt with that situation differently? And they put it back to you.
Gotcha. Okay. Hey, what you think?
I think that it's okay to go and discuss some of it depending on who you're discussing with. I talk to my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law because they know my husband the best. And sometimes it's just venting. I'm like, why is your son or your brother? And I know they have a vested interest in us being together. So it's not something where I feel like I'm discussing with the world. And also my sister-in-law, who my brother married, and they've been married for 20 years. And to be able to get like that sound advice from someone who's married, who has kids, who's been doing it for so long, to me, it's so beneficial and just like eye-opening and just like, hey, it's hard when you have kids. You need to communicate. And so having that kind of like reinforcement that I'm not the only person that maybe feels like this in the moment, and just having maybe that reassurance that, all right, I'm not the only one feeling this way. Maybe there's other people. It is like this. Let's figure out, and realizing the person I need to talk to about all this stuff is my husband. So, I think it depends on who you're talking to be able to go outside of. But I do agree. I think you need to realize who it is, because there's some people, I'm saying the family members, but I'm not going to go to every family member to talk to, because I know they won't be able to forgive and move on like everyone else was saying. But I think it's important to pick the right person to be able to say, hey, maybe I do need to be checked. Maybe I do, looking at it from a different point of view that I probably didn't think of.
Hey, Shanique,
Everyone's got a different view.
Stuff can't be doing, yo, that you gotta talk to his mom about.
I love his mom too, because his mom is just so honest. It's just so, she's so blunt and honest, and just, yeah. I just didn't know what I was going to get myself into when we're talking. She's very, very honest.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Sometimes too much information.
If you sound like you disagree.
No, I kind of agree with my brother. You feel me? Like, motherfucker, see, because it's hard for people to unsee shit, right? And they can start doing little things differently, and it's not gonna go how they think it's gonna go. Because, like Mary said, you end up being fine, but people still hold on to things just a little bit, or they also think that their advice matters, right? Like, it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? So then when people think they can advise you on what's yours, that can become an issue. So I don't disagree necessarily, but I think it could be unsafe, and then people get over their skis, thinking that what they gonna tell me, just as a hypothetical, is gonna make a difference. Like they got some type of sway in my house. You know what I mean?
Right, but I think it's more just like free flowing conversation too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's, hey, you go into these people and you just like, hey, what to do. Or these people always feel like they have to teach you something. But I think when you have somebody who's vested in what you have going on, they just have a unique perspective. Like when me and you was talking the other day, like we'll just talk and it's like, well, hey, what about this? Right. So it's not even necessarily me always telling you what to do or how to do it. But
it's not a valid example, babe boy. You're a therapist. You're a therapist. Even at the end, you were like, yo, I ain't gonna charge you for this. So
put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him
That
out.
does not count. That's not your therapist. That's your friend. He's not your therapist.
Oh, let me finish this.
Put him in the fucking bedroom.
So then, why the fuck, kid? Let me talk to Q. She got some sense. So Q, why at the end of the conversation did this nigga tell me, "Don't worry, he ain't gonna charge me"?
Because he was giving you wise counsel.
And legally, he can't charge you because he ain't do an intake.
Yeah, we did an intake 25 years ago. So, and then my sister is a therapist too. So Bay up here capping.
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here.
All right. Mary, y'all unmuted. Go ahead. What you about to say?
I wasn't about to say nothing. I'm just laughing at y'all.
You had to unmute the laugh. Yo, grow up, yo. There's some glasses, man. Them shit's heavy as a motherfucker.
My shit is great, boy.
Yo, did y'all see Adrian shits?
Adrian got the glasses.
Oh, boy, got the goddamn. You went to jail to get them glasses, man. All right. So, all right. So, any final thoughts on this? I'm still conflicted, but I understand both sides.
Yeah, I guess my final input is it does happen. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to come across like it's some holier than thou, you know, because I really feel that keeping outside voices out is the best way. But it does happen sometimes where you may end up venting to somebody you didn't expect the situation to happen or expect to do that. But to that point, you have to have a level of discernment to know who to do that with and when to stop, when to not get, how much information to give, and when it's like, okay, I realized the error that was made. Moving forward, this is how we moving, because it's only going to protect your relationship. Because a lot of times, everybody got problems, and people really don't give a fuck about yours, and that's just how it be.
And that's like I just feel like